Oh, don't care. Are you running Kanye West's Twitter? Don't worry about what I do in my abundant free time that I have so much of. Explicit anti-Semitic attitudes are now much more common among young voters. 18-year-old registered voters are now 5 times more likely to say that they have an unfavorable view of the Jewish people than 65-year-olds. I'm curious what the data set looks like for this. This is a very, very, very clean graph. Like, I feel like there's a lot of uniformity here, no? Is that saying 1/4 of Trump supporters are around 18 are anti-Semitic? No way, right? It's saying more than that, right? 25, this is 27.5, around 27.8% of Trump voters at the age of 20 have an unfavorable view of the Jewish people. I mean, there's like a lot of explainers for this possibly though, right? Question, do you have a favorable or unfavorable view or opinion of Jewish people? Oh, I thought it was like of the Jewish people. Oh, he says the Jew. I feel like that's significantly different, no? Like if I was thinking the Jewish people, I'm thinking a lot more like Israel and Zionism. But if somebody were to ask, do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Jewish people? I feel like that's a significantly different question. Like that article changes it quite a lot. Maybe, no? But I would expect if it was just Jewish people, I'd expect it to be even lower in terms of people who have a disfavorable view. That's kind of crazy. Jeez. I don't think of them differently at all. Maybe it's just being inundated in all the Israel-Palestine shit. But if somebody's like, how do you feel about the Jewish people? I'm thinking a lot differently of that versus, how do you feel about Jewish people? Jewish people are chill. How do you feel about the Jewish people? The Jewish people? Well, let me think a second. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe studying all the Israel-Palestine. Are these bots or are these gripers or wait, the fuck? How is this 40,000 likes? Jesus. Will you do a cheeky email to Kanye for a chat to see if he bites? You know, I got a feeling he probably won't. And I'm sure there's a billion people barking up that tree right now. Do you still think Asmon is grifting for the audience or that he's just mask off alt-right bigot type? He seems to be pretty all or nothing now. Man, I don't know. My theory of mind on like all of those types of people has gotten fuzzier and fuzzier. Like I feel like it's solidified more in the past and then it gets fuzzy and then it solidifies more and then it gets fuzzy again. Like where I'm at right now is I feel like initially it was kind of a grift and then it turned into like a grift plus audience capture and then it transitioned to like an audience capture plus starts to actually believe it. Or like even when he was grifting, it was grifting plus he kind of believed it because of the Gamergate stuff, and I can't tell now. Like it feels pretty genuine, but I don't know. It's really hard to say. Like you have to figure like an audience capture and a grift can eventually turn into a sincere and serious belief because you spend so much time in those communities, you know? Asmon, calling you out 10 minutes ago. Oh boy.
This. When how many tweets and comments did you make celebrating the guy and memeing on the guy that got killed at the Trump rally? And so now we're supposed to look at this appeal to empathy for these clowns that have been wasting our fucking money?
There's a difference in terms of, I would never say that you should never feel indifferent to or say somebody's deserving of dying or whatever. I would never make that blanket statement generally, right? If a murderer is trying to kill somebody and then gets killed by the police, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, we need to have an abundance of empathy for the murderer. My lack of care for people that are supporting Trump at Trump rallies is you have a guy who tried to coup the government explicitly. You have a guy who is engaged in all sorts of un-American, I would say, treasonous behavior from top to bottom and has directed other people to do the same. If you're at his rally celebrating him coming back to being the president, I just don't give a fuck. Like, you guys are begging for violence. You want the violence. You've talked about violence in multiple ways. And then if it happens, like, I'm not going to care. To say that because I have that feeling for that all of a sudden that's the same thing as celebrating. Just like federal workers who are now being fired because of the same types of actions, I guess, that that guy at that rally would have been celebrating, which was an illegal attempt by one man to take over the government. I mean, like, if you want to equate all of it, then I guess knock yourself out. But this is like an intellectually bankrupt position. Like,
what is this? How are you going to do that? It doesn't make any sense, man. Doesn't sound like he's mad at you. Sounds like he's disappointed. The thing is that Destiny and I, you guys might not believe it, but we agree on a great number of things. It's one of the reasons.
No, that is probably not true anymore. I don't know what, I do not know what we would agree on at this point. I'm not sure. Or rather, this goes back to that thing that I said a long time ago, where I said, I don't know how to like separate out these. I don't have like a clever, snappy name for it, but like people will agree on these amorphous kind of like moral beliefs, but then when you actually distill them down into some solidified form, and then you ask, you find out that they're worlds apart, right? So it might be something like you get two people to agree, all life is precious, right? Yes, of course. Everybody deserves protection to the fullest extent under the law in the United States, right? Of course. And then from like these two things, then it's like, that's why women should have the right to have an abortion. Their medical decisions with their doctor is completely protected. And the other person will be like, wait, hold on. No. I was talking about a baby's right to live. They should never be aborted. That's crazy. So I don't like this agreement. This is why I've done this for probably years now, I guess. I don't know, over a year, right? Where I'm like, give examples, because all of the nebulous, ethereal, like, oh yeah, I believe in these lofty principles. Well, it doesn't mean anything without an example. I don't know what the fuck you're actually saying, because the way the application of these principles, like in practice, this could be totally different between two people, even if they profess the same like meta level beliefs. So when Asmongold says, me and Destiny would agree on a great deal of things, we would agree on these like lofty principles, but everybody does. Every human being probably will. Government shouldn't engage in fraud. Yeah, of course. Government shouldn't waste taxpayer money. Yeah, of course. USAID is a waste of taxpayer money and it's fraudulent. No, that's not true, right?
That's why I haven't been overly hostile towards him. I actually like Destiny in a lot of ways, but I think that recently he's, I think that he's popped off a bit too much. And I think that people used to respect and like Destiny a lot because of how well measured and how, I think like how orderly he was with his thinking. And I think that especially in the past 6 months to a year.
This is like the thing that's boring me the most with all the political commentary. And it's actually like wearing me down, which is maybe the goal, I guess, of these things. Is there's never any engagement with anything that's being said. It's always it's either personal or this meta level shit. Like, engage with anything I've said. Is USAID an authorized department or sub-office or sub-department by Congress? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Does USAID's funding get authorized by Congress? Yes or no? Yes? Oh, okay. Well, in that case, you can't just shut it down from the presidency. You can't do that. You're not allowed to. It's not legal. You're not allowed to do that. That's why a judge granted a temporary restraining order or an injunction, preliminary injunction, whatever. You can't do that. Okay, all right. Well, now what's the next claim? USAID wastes our money. Well, what do you mean by waste? By waste, do you mean that they engage in fraud? Because if so, that's a crime, and we should figure out what that is. Or by waste, you mean they spend money on things that you don't like. If that's the case, then kick rocks. You can't do anything about that unless you get Congress to rescind their budget or rescind their money or change their mission or the scope of their mission through some sort of congressional law or act or statute or whatever, right? Like this, it's super simple. This is like very, very, very simple. If A, then B. If not, then C, then whatever. But there's like never any engagement with that. Now it's just like, oh, he used to be orderly this thing, and then Trump derangement syndrome, and then now he just hates conservatives. He was so based when he was also attacking liberals, but now that he hates conservatives, he's just gotten totally unhinged and crazy, and now he's just insane. It's like, wow, okay, well, if I'm so insane, then debunk my points. It's super easy. Like, show me a person that I've called insane that I don't go on to debunk their points. If you're crazy, I'll very easily just destroy your arguments. It's so easy. It's such an easy thing to do. And if I'm so crazy and so insane and so unhinged, then just debunk my shit. That's so easy.
I think that he's definitely kind of gotten a lot more extreme. And I understand you can say that about me, maybe. You could. But that doesn't mean it's not true about him, too, right? And this is coming as somebody who's like, I've watched his content on and off for like 10 years, right? Actually, not that long. Maybe like a little bit over 5. And so ever since like the 2016 election, somewhere around there. And so anyway, I think it's been a problem, and I've noticed that a lot with Destiny's comments, and I think that, like, he ends up putting his foot in his mouth when he does something like this after he spent such a long time going on basically a celebration tour that there was a shooting at a Trump rally.
Spent such a long time going on a celebration tour? This was in the news for like 1 week, and that's it. Like, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, like, nobody should die to political violence in the United States. I think it's pretty tragic. But I mean, like, I think it's more tragic that the conditions have been created that brought it about. I think it's tragic that 1,600 people, some of whom committed violence against federal officers, engaged in violence on J6 and are pardoned. I think it's pretty sad that now there are foreign workers who are, or U.S. workers working in foreign areas that could potentially be harmed. And now there are other people dying because we've just decided to arbitrarily chop off some foreign aid that the U.S. does because of Elon Musk, I guess. Because we think that a whole bunch of stuff was made public that had already been public through public.gov databases forever. Like,
I really think that I think you're not doing yourself any favors. 2016 was 9 years. Shut up. It wasn't 9 years ago. That's not even true. Yeah, that's not even true. He's hostile towards you too much, man. You're too kind. At some point, it's over the line. That's okay. I try to be fair. With everything, I try to be fair. And no matter what, I will try to be fair as much as I can. That's why I haven't covered any of his allegations, because I don't want to cover allegations anymore, because I think that they are just that, allegations. And so that's actually one of the reasons why, you guys might not know this, I actually didn't cover the Hassan video when it first released.
Is he gonna fucking try to equate these two things? Can I just say, if you ever want to be the most OP public person ever, I'm getting to the end of my rope on this. Hopefully this resolves soon. The most OP thing ever is to have nothing to lose and then to threaten to file a lawsuit against somebody so that that person can't really say anything public for reasons that I can talk about hopefully pretty soon, while you just say whatever you want online and then wait for things to work themselves in the background. That is an OP strat, and holy fuck, it is driving me insane. Soon, hopefully, we get to the end of this, though. Or I'm just going to get to the end of it. But Jesus Christ. But anyway, is he really going to equate these two things?
It's because Hassan had a couple of allegations against him, and I didn't want to provide a platform for that.
This is the most disingenuous, like, dishonest, like, hack bullshit. Like, I can't even believe he would grant Hassan. Well, no, it's because these two fucking dick sucks probably work together with each other. They're probably on... Wait, actually. Fuck. Fuck. What is Asmongold's Discord name? Oh, hold on. I'm just checking. I'm just curious. Yeah, they are. Okay. They're friends on Discord. I see that. Asmongold and Hassan. Hassan still has me added on Discord, and I bet the reason why he does is so that he can see when somebody adds him is if we share mutual. So Asmongold and Hassan are friends on Discord. I see that, yeah. So these guys probably have some kind of agreement to not like cover like super dramatic shit from each other. But to pretend like a video that decides to run through like 15 years of random shit about me to try to make me out to be some pedophile fucking monster is the same as a video critiquing Hassan's political, like public political positions that he does on Twitch is like the same thing. Bro, give me a break.
Because I thought that it would be unfair.
Oh my God.
That's actually a big reason. I didn't talk about this, but that's just that's a factor, right? And so anyway, and so that's the reason my previous comment. You have to understand.
This is, yes. Twitch is Poland, and this is the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Absolutely.
What's happening here? You're fair and honest. I do. I try to be fair and honest.
Can I ask why you have Hassan added still? For the same reason he probably has me added still. I can see who our mutuals are. I think it's important. It's good to know.
That's why I like you didn't cover Tectone too. Well, he's my friend, right? So it would make sense that I wouldn't cover my friend.
Okay. I don't have to ever mind read Asman. He can just say the horrible things. He can just say the things. I don't need to actually try to guess, I guess. Okay, thank you. All right.
But if I only cover the people that I don't like and the people that are hostile towards me, but I don't cover people that I know, well, then I'm not really being like, I'm a clown, right? I'm basically a fucking clown.
Do you think Aslan is at all aware of the game he's playing? Sam Hyde calls him out ironically, but I wonder if that shit has at all emboldened him to dig deeper into the group. I don't know. I can't. My theory of mind, I've said this at the beginning of the stream. My theory of mind for these people like disappeared. I don't understand like what's happening. I'm not sure. Like I wouldn't be able to tell you genuinely what they were thinking.
And so, like, no, like Tectone's my friend. Like, yeah, of course I'm not going to cover his shit. And so I don't want to be biased. I don't want people to think that I'm biased. So, yeah. Anyway, good that you're being fair to Hassan. I always, defending Hassan, it's not about defending Hassan. I defend the truth and I defend my ideals. And sometimes that has to align with people that you might not agree with.
Hassan has talked about Asmongold, though. Like when Asmon said the Holocaust thing, I wish I could make you guys understand the difference. When you guys say that Hassan covers Asmongold, Hassan covers Asmongold with the most delicate kid gloves in the universe. If I were to say something even remote, remember, just because I had Nick Fuentes on my stream, I am a full-blown fucking Nazi, despite the fact that I argued with him the entire time. However, like with Asmongold, it's like, I can't believe he's saying these misguided things and it's just so wrong and it's crazy that he's saying these things. That's it. But if I was saying like, I think the Holocaust happened, I'm like 90% sure, bro, it would be the end.
And sometimes that's frustrating. I know it must be frustrating for some people that I don't blindly hate somebody that they don't like. And I understand that, but I try to be fair. And
although I will say, because I'm the only person here that gives credit to people that he doesn't like, okay, I will say that I can appreciate Asmongold's position, that he's at least public about, like, why didn't I cover Tectone? Oh, he's my friend. I just want to cover, you know, bad shit about my friends. Oh, okay. At least you're open about it instead of, like, pretending that you do. So I think that's fair, at least.
I think that to the extent that I am fair, people...
Maybe I'm wrong, but isn't he referring to Hassan's allegations, not his politics? I don't think Hassan has any allegations out there, unless you take anything Lab says seriously. And she's a deeply unserious person. So, no, what do you mean? Or maybe we should take those seriously. I guess Hassan likes to say all sorts of crazy shit about me, but... Because Asmon isn't hostile towards people, so they give him more charity. Lord Tiny, you have a bad reputation, so people come harder at you. I totally disagree with that. I think the reason why people come harder at me is because there is a fuck ton of online credit for doing so. Because I don't like line up with or align with any of the big online political communities. There's always that like, fuck, like my PR is taking a hit, break glass in case of emergency, shit on Destiny video. And you'll always get credit or warm welcomes from multiple communities online if you're willing to do that. I don't think it has anything to do with like demeanor or anything. Or maybe a little bit with demeanor, but not much, I don't think.
Respect that.
It would be
even
like
if they don't
10 or
respect
15%
and they
of it.
don't agree with my position, they respect it. And so that's it. And is Techie okay?
Like if you want like the best example of this, look at how much Lonerbox got fucking eviscerated by Hassan's community. Lonerbox is like I don't even know if he has it in him to be like an incredibly huge asshole dick to somebody. Like he's just like a pretty nice dude. I guess he can speak like a little sarcastically sometimes, but like that, like, so I mean, like I feel like that's a good example of, and the only reason why he's targeted was because he's in my community, or was in my community. Rip.
He's farming. As far I talked to Tectone like yesterday, actually, he wanted me to play this game, not Limgrave, fucking Limbus Cloud or something like that. Limbus Bus, like I forgot what it was, but yeah, he's trying to get me to play this game. Like I'm at Limbus Company, yeah.
Quinn just died.
Right?
Yeah, give it to Jay. I have it.
Yes.
Wait, is this their permadeath? Was this their... Are they all dying now? Is it all coming to an end? Is there a way for someone not within your general political space to critique you for your politics, or is it kind of hard right now to see who's genuinely criticizing you or just trying to farm off of shitting on you? I'll be, because I'm on my hubris arc, I'll say this. I'm probably the most read and researched person in the political sphere of my size when it comes to this, so no, I don't think anybody can criticize me on my political positions, because they lack the specific knowledge, they're unwilling to read or do any research, and they lack the general knowledge. They just don't understand anything about government, finance, history, anything, to levy any criticism at me. So all of it is either personal ad hom or ridiculous straw man. But I mean, like, that's not just because I'm exceptionally smart. It's just because the area that I inhabit is exceptionally stupid. You're just not expected to know anything or have any like general knowledge about anything, which is why you get fucking videos of who's that Canadian guy, Jordan Peterson, and he's supposed to theoretically be your next maybe prime minister. This Pierre Poilievre, I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name.
Our productivity.
Where these guys are like discovering for the very first time the term productivity. Productivity? What productivity?
Is another major problem. Like right now.
Also, this is a hilarious video. productivity. So I'm at least impressed because whenever somebody knows like a year one grade school or high school level econ term and they're in politics, I'm like, oh my God, yes, thank you for knowing a little bit. So this guy just learned yesterday, I guess, the term productivity. Now, the funny thing is if you know anything about productivity, so productivity is the measure of like how much can a worker produce for a given hour of work, right? So
Our productivity is another major problem. Like right now, and that's productivity sounds complicated. It's actually extremely simple. You just take the GDP and you divide it by the hours worked in the country. So American GDP is $80. So for every hour an American worker works on average, he or she produces $80 of GDP. In Canada, it's 50. So that's every hour. So that means we have to work 60% more just to make the same amount and have the same level of income to buy food and housing. So that's the...
So, oh, cool. So good for him. But if you know anything about productivity, one of the best ways to boost productivity of your labor is education. They do an 11.5-minute video. Well, I think this is part of a larger conversation, talking about how low productivity is an issue in Canada, but because ideologically they have to hate school, they never bring up a single time in this whole conversation. They don't bring up increasing access to college, increasing education of labor force. It's not even brought up. It's just like a thing that they bring up to talk about how much harder, I guess, work is in Canada or something. It's like, wait, what? How can you bring this up and not mention that? So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, in 2016, I had like this delusional fantasy that online politics would be like arguing in the weeds substantively over government reports, over different studies and research, over different whatever. But in reality, it's usually just people shit-slinging ad homs at each other.
Skyrocketing.
Over and over and over again. Or attacking the most ridiculously strawman positions without even having like a general foundation of knowledge. Look at this dipshit. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Canada is considered to be more educated than Canada. Found the Canadian. Cons have to hate school. Yeah, I don't know why. Conservatives now just hate school. Actually, I should be careful. I don't know if in Canada, if you guys have gotten there just yet. I know that Canadians that come to the United States are there because Jordan Peterson is the #1 college hater. But yeah. If you're so fed up with how non-conducive the online environment for political change, both by content creators and audiences, why not expand your genuine political takes into other mediums than online, like publishing books or writing articles? Well, the thing that sucks is that like my biggest gifts or the abilities that I have like the most of is I excel a ton in debate, in like dynamic live conversations, obviously in online content creation, and in terms of being like adversarial. Like these are things, and I have a lot of we'll say tenacity for dealing with online shit. So like, could I write articles or publish stuff if I were to just get a PhD or something? I mean, like maybe, I'm sure, assuming RFK doesn't delete my Vyvanse. But I feel like I am because I have such good gifts in other areas, it just feels like a waste to like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go publish stuff. Not that it's wasteful to publish stuff or wasteful to do articles or books or whatever like that, but I'm just saying that because I'm talented in other areas, it just seems like a waste to just do that, you know? We are making a big push to the trades and just, quote, get into the trades, bros, end quote. Here in Canada, our PM has set up a lot of trade programs for high schoolers, which doesn't seem bad. Trades are fine. However, trades are like, it's like college light. Like you still have to get some debt to do like an apprenticeship and to become a journeyman. And to go to trade school still requires some debt, and you still have to go to school for. It depends, I think, on the program or whatever. They're not bad though. I think there should be like more. I think maybe the technical term might be like discrimination. So if you're in high school and you want to go to college, there's probably a decent gap of people who maybe just don't have it for whatever reason for college, but would do way better with more than just high school. And then I think the trades fit like a really good middle ground there that can be promoted more, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of college, right? Just help people select better or discriminate better between who goes to college and who would be better off in a trade, you know? Like, that's it. You don't have to hate one to support the other. Why is it always messaging with Democrats? All this time they push education, but the number one way to get into a trade is to go into a trade school. But all Dems focus on is college when talking about it. Do they? I feel like Dems, I don't even know if Dems talk about college that much anymore. I feel like we don't even talk about education right now. Or at least I haven't heard Dems talk about college in a long time. But maybe they do and I just miss those conversations. Do you think the Second Amendment is intended for the prevention of tyranny? Maybe. My feeling is the answer is yes, but I don't know if it's in the way that people intended, but I don't have the prerequisite historical background to say. The feeling that I have from the little I do know is that it feels to me like the Second Amendment existed to make sure that the states themselves could have militias that couldn't be disarmed by the federal government. It had nothing to do with a private citizen's right to own a firearm, or little to do with that, and more to do with the state's abilities to organize and maintain an active militia if they wanted to, for fear of the newly formed federal government disarming the state militias and then taking over those states by force. That seems to be what the intention of the Second Amendment was. It seems to be, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah. I'm generally confused. Why would you expect Pierre to talk about education when it comes to Canadian versus American productivity if Canadians are more educated? Does that imply education can't be the barrier for higher productivity? I mean, education is just one of your best ways of like boosting productivity. There are other ways as well, but wait, I shouldn't have just clicked that. Would you? And then I click a link. That was fucking retarded. Fuck, you know what that reminds me of? You know what one of the creepiest looking monster things ever are? Fuck me, dude. I rewatched all three of these movies a couple weeks ago. And they're so good. Is it EM? I don't know what the fuck these names are. Oh, no. Oh, this guy. I feel like this is a good monster design.
Where are they?
Whatever this thing is.
My master, Sauron the Great, bids thee welcome.
It's real creepy. Looks like Guillermo del Toro's monster in Pan's Labyrinth.
Is there any in this route with authority to treat with me?
Oh, the eye monster guy? Maybe, but then I feel Asmon wants to keep being the neutral free speech guy, optics-wise, which is why I'd be... Oh, wait, that's... You're not even talking to me, sorry. Do you think the Doge guys should have been fired? Yeah, I think that all of them shouldn't be in our fucking offices, but if you're talking about over, like, the racist posts online or whatever, my position has never changed on this, although I think I've got a bit of an outsider position. I think you should be able to post whatever the fuck you want online, and I don't think you should be fired for it. If you're not on the clock, then your employer can't say shit about what you do. Maybe that's a little bit different for an elected official, maybe for a bureaucrat, I'm not sure, but I don't know. I'd have to see it as well. I'm sure there's probably some line where I would say this probably can't work. Like if you work in social services and you help like poor or impoverished people or homeless people, and then on your Twitter account all day you just spam like I hate N-words, I hate N-words, I hate N-words. Like, I don't know, man, it's probably not okay, but it was really bad. Was it? I haven't even seen the what he got fired for. What about this one, though? Wait 1 second.
All right, stop. Good work.
What's my motivation here?
You are a woman who's very mad at her boyfriend. He screwed up the shot, and you need that for Instagram, okay? Next time you do it, I want to see some more anger in the eyes, okay? This way it's believable. We can rage bait on Facebook all day long about this. Are you ready for the next shot? Okay, 3, 2, 1.
I'm just a girl.
Okay, better.
How do people even believe this stuff?
It's rage bait. They want to believe it's real because they're just a bunch of idiots. They don't have any media literacy, okay? Get ready for the next one. I think we're good. Cassie, I think we just need one more shot with this cupcake and then we're going to nail it, okay? Ready? Phone, 3, 2, 1.
I'm just a girl.
Oh, I really like that one. Excellent work. So, we need to do one more, okay? I don't really think I caught it.
Why? This is dumb and soulless.
I agree. This is starting to feel soulless.
Yeah, man, we used to have so much more fun doing this. How many more takes do we need?
We just need a couple more takes. Once we make the money off the rage bait, we can get back to normal content, okay? 3, 2, 1, go.
Absolutely epic. One second. Woo! Sorry, my essay's due today. ChatGPT keeps correcting it. Is this considered self-defense? Oof, punched, damn. Oh, wait. Whoa! Wait, can you see people dying in this? It doesn't show the death. Wait. It shows the death at the end. Wait, it's a movie. Not a movie. We definitely needed the slowed down sound effects for Damn. Okay. Where are we at here? Oh man, this is a complicated one. I think there are three dimensions, I think, that we usually analyze things from. You've got the understandable dimension, where it's like, probably shouldn't have, but I get it. You've got the ethical dimension, where it's like, morally, should you have done this? And then you've got the legal dimension, where, like, legally, would you be allowed to do this? So my first huge ethical issue, I feel incredibly strongly about this. And I think that anything having to do with self-defense, if you're concealed carrying, you should not be looking for fights with people. Like, this guy in the yellow coat should not be standing here arguing with a guy. Like, if two men are screaming in each other's face, he's like basically saying like, okay, let's go. Let's fight. Let's go. He has a gun. He knows that if this escalates, this dude's going to die. So I feel like ethically, yellow jacket guy is already really, really, really not okay here. So it looks like what's happening here is after big guy punches small guy. So when adult men are throwing punches, I think that that's always like, you have to start viewing this in terms of like, is somebody trying to kill somebody here? Like, because that could always get to that pretty quickly. It looks like yellow guy, Jesus, what a horrible concealed carry that he has to lift his jacket up. It looks like he's doing, not appendix carry, but like obviously it's very visible, this guy. This is what I'm guessing is it looks like he pulls it up. He goes to reach for his firearm. This guy obviously sees and goes to grab for it. Well, now you're in a life or death struggle with a firearm that yellow jacket dude basically invited. My guess is going to be that big guy here couldn't get his hands on the gun. And then other guys start shooting, even as the guy's running away. Legally, I don't know. I guess it's probably hazy, maybe. I don't know if he would get off or not, just because the big dude attacked first. But morally, I think yellow jacket guy is super, super, super in the wrong. One second. Okay. Couldn't this be like a life hack? If you wanted to kill somebody illegally, just get them to swing on you and then shoot them? Maybe, but I think that there are, I don't know as much of the criminal law in this area, but there's aggravating and there's mitigating circumstances that can make something not as bad or worse. So like, I think that if you assault somebody, there could be mitigating circumstances where that other person did stuff to kind of provoke you, and maybe legally it's not enough to get you off the hook completely, but it like lessens the severity of either your sentencing or how like a judge would deal with you. So yeah. The big dude has yellow jacket cornered into his car door. Why should the yellow jacket guy have to back down if big dude is fucking with him? Because you have a gun and you just should. There's no reason that somebody has to die here. That's a pretty permanent thing. Yeah. Like killing people. Was big dude backing off before he even saw the gun? I don't know, but big dude swung, man. Big dude did a full out fucking punch on this guy. Big dude's also morally in the wrong, by the way. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what they're fighting over. It's possible the yellow guy said, like, I'm about to go and murder your entire family or something, and then he's like, no, I have to stop him right now before he kills everybody I know and love. Destiny threw one punch, then kind of looked like he was walking away. I don't get that at all. It looks like he threw one punch. I don't know if he was going to walk away at all. And then this guy reaches for a gun, and now he's like, oh shit. At Destiny, it's also really easy not to punch someone in the face. Yeah, that's not, yeah. Hold on. Most trade somebody sent me this who works, I think, as an electrician. Most trade apprenticeships do not require trade schools in the sense that you think they do. Trade schools are generally looked down upon in a state that this guy, Washington, will say, because they are. Well, that's what he said, but I don't think that docks him. Because they are garbage and do not nearly get people engaged with the actual applications and lean more towards the theory/mechanics of things. Example, in electrical trade schools, you can learn about how motors work. You learn about variable frequency motors and how motors work with different voltages. It's a lab setting, controlled and calculated to teach some of the basics. What they don't teach you is what you will see most often with motors, voltage dropping from resistance issues in the actual installations. They don't teach you about weather and improper sealing of motors can cause issues in your variable frequency drives that supply power to your motors. It's a lot to try to explain in a short way, but trade schools, how the conservatives push it is wrong. I don't know why they push it when apprenticeships that don't require tuition are more sought after. They fight in the middle ground of trade schools because it's easier to sell people that you can do a trade school, which is cheaper than traditional college. It's a stepping stone to them trying to completely dismiss higher education, which ironically the higher education trade schools are generally dismissed in actual trades. That's what that guy said. There you go. Do you think he would have fired if big guy didn't reach for the gun? I have no idea. It's hard to say. But if you're big guy, now you're in an actual life or death situation. There's another reason, by the way, why starting fights with people is stupid. Unless it's like a life or death situation already. Like, because you never know who has a gun, especially in America. Why would you start a fight with a dude? I wonder what they were arguing over. I wonder if it was worth dying for. Who knows? What do you think of Japan investing $1 trillion in the United States? $1 trillion, dude? What? This guy got off on self-defense. Well, there you go. In a jury trial, if he's doing affirmative defense, it would have been a jury trial, right? Good guy exonerated after righteous shooting in viral video. I feel like this guy like is flying. Holy shit. I feel like they literally, remember the story of the big bully who mastered unassisted human flight after picking on the wrong guy last month? I feel like most of the shots went into this guy's back even. I'm curious if the coroner report said that, if that was released publicly. Do you think that guns should be more restricted? For example, you should only be able to carry them to and from the range. Nah, fuck that. That's fucking Canadian bullshit. Can you explain Ezra Klein's glow up? It's literally just male makeup, aka facial hair. That's literally it. If you shoot someone once and he runs away, it's no longer self-defense in most states, no? I mean, there's probably going to be, some reasonable limitation, like within like 5 or 10 seconds. Like nobody's going to make those decisions like immediately, like rationally, you know? 1 second. You tried having only a mustache before? Yeah, but fuck shaving chin is okay. Actually, I don't know if I've only had a mustache before. Should we have better awareness education at schools for my kids to not start fights because your opponent might have a gun? All in all, guns and gun deaths aren't really that big of a deal in the U.S. It's just not that many people that die to them. It's tragic and it sucks. Use a trimmer, that way it's easy to shave and you can have like a cool 5 o'clock shadow. Unless that technology has gotten significantly better over the past few years, trimmers will never be a substitute for shaving. Even with just like an ordinary Gillette razor or whatever, you don't have to use this fucking straight razor or whatever. Oh wait, here's a question. Do you think that do guys ever per capita, don't we have more gun deaths than every other country? Yeah, but it's just, again, it's just in the grand scheme of things, it's not, yeah. Okay, sorry. Have guys ever done, so like when you're a guy, you're not supposed to let your facial hair grow like all the way down here. You're supposed to like cut it at some point. I don't know if mine is high enough or low enough or whatever. Do guys ever just like laser off this hair? Do you think guys have ever done that? Are there people that do that? Yes. Oh, because it feels like it would just be time saving. Like, or if you were to grow a full beard, do you let this hair grow? I guess you would let that hair grow then, huh? But does it matter if you don't? Or like would anybody even notice? How far up do you shave? Saving 10 seconds every time? Well, it's not just time saved. It's the fact that you wouldn't even have to worry about it. I think my facial hair would grow to like here ordinarily, but I shave like this section off, probably like an inch, I guess. I don't know. You gotta watch this body cam. It's crazy. Happened a couple weeks ago now. Jacksonville officer shoots man in leg while removing his gun. Have you taken the minoxidil pill yet? No, that's for people who are... One is to save your hair and one is to bring your hair back. Is finasteride the one that brings your hair back and Minox is the one that keeps it from going? But that's for when you're actually balding, I think. Your background needs balance. It looks like you're streaming from an armory. Throw the guitar back there. Well, an armory? Yeah, I guess. It's because I have the ammo boxes right there, too. I just need to get more books. Or I can move those top books down. Oh, I have all the 3 Lying About Hitler books. I can, like, move those to the middle shelf. You should be on Fin. Don't wait until it's too late. What? You would never start taking finasteride until I think you've already... started exhibiting at least severe thinning, if not balding. But yeah, I think if you wait too long to start the fin, then you can be fucked. But that's for people who are balding. What the fuck? You excited about GTA 6 this year? As a huge gamer, I'm so excited. Yeah. So I don't get why you stop playing games. What the fuck do you even do all day? A lot of boring background stuff. I guess not boring, but no, it is boring. Have you seen that Candace Owens doesn't even call her politics now? She's doing like celeb gossip. Candace Owens, she's always done celeb and pop culture news as well. Like she's always mixed it up, I think. The UK had like 30 total gun deaths last year on a population of 70 million. This is over 15K in the USA with only 5 times the population. The answer is so simple. Well, you wouldn't just compare that. You'd have to compare all homicides or something, right? Like knife deaths have to be compared as well, you know? You said Vyvanse makes you stop playing games, but that's all I do while on Vyvanse. Vyvanse doesn't make me stop playing games. It just allows me to focus and quiet my mind a little bit more for other things. Like reading doesn't give you the same like continual stream, I think, of good feelings, rewards as like playing a video game does. So playing video games was very addictive before because it made me feel good all the time, I think. But it's a little bit different now in that I can do things that don't have that super constant. I can like be a little bit more forward looking, I guess. Can I ask what the main factors you are taking into account when you say in the grand scheme of things that gun deaths aren't a big deal? Sure, what I'm looking at is, so on number one, I'm looking legally, what would it take to significantly change how we approach guns in the United States? The first issue is that constitutionally, you'd almost need an amendment to make significant changes. So we've already got a huge hurdle there. Now, there's a ton of state laws that you could theoretically fight over in different states, but so legally, we have a huge hurdle. Now, that's not enough to say that we shouldn't do anything, but legally, there's a huge hurdle. Okay, well, what is the appetite in the population for gun control? Okay, well, half the country likes guns, a lot, Republicans. Okay, well, fuck. And an okay amount of Democrats. Okay, so the population. But, like, how strongly divisive is this issue? For the people that don't want to control guns, like how big of a deal is this for them? It's a really big deal. Okay, so we have huge legal barriers. We've got pretty big population and like political capital barriers. Okay, well, let's go look at the effect. Maybe like 1 million people a year died of gun deaths. You know, if it's a huge number, like that could still be worth fighting for. And then you look at the overall number of people that die, and it's like, okay, well, if you compare this to things that are related to healthcare or I would say probably just healthcare or like even like fucking diet and exercise or shit. There are other way bigger issues, I think, that would be more amenable to the population and would be easier legislatively or culturally to accomplish. So why just the gun stuff is just not worth focusing on. That's basically how I look at it, I think. Yeah. That's how I view abortion on the Republican side too. So I don't think that they should focus on abortion so much. Although, I mean, they got away with rolling back some of it, so... Is it the #1 cause of deaths among under 18s gun deaths? Yes, but that's a very deceptive figure for 2 reasons, I think. And if you want to go and find this chart, you can do it. But I think that's a very deceptive figure for 2 reasons. Because 1, I don't think it's under 18. I think it's like 16 to 18. Because that number is represented as under 18, which makes you think, holy fuck, how many 4-year-olds and 6-year-olds are out there dying of guns? But I think when you look at that actual graph, it ends up looking, I think, like something like this, where like most of your under 18 deaths to guns are at these like years where you're getting involved in like gang or crime shit, right? So it's like 15, 16, 17. It's like dramatically overweighted up here. #1 and #2, it kind of makes sense. It's a little bit dark and then it's a little bit not dark if you think about it. It kind of makes sense that maybe homicide would be the most likely way for an under 18 to die because why else would young people be dying? They're not dying of heart disease. They're not dying of cancer, right? Young people typically should never die ever. There's not much of a reason health-wise for young people to die. So something has to be going really wrong. If you're under 18 and you're dying, it's probably going to be something dark, like homicide-related or whatever, right? Car accident, stuff like that maybe, yeah. Drug overdose. Even drug overdoses, people shouldn't typically die of drug overdoses. Although fentanyl has changed that calculation quite significantly. Well, I shouldn't say that, I'm sorry. Fairly significantly. Like, people generally shouldn't be dying, like ODing even of harder drugs like heroin and shit, things like cocaine and methamphetamine, you shouldn't be dying of overdosing of that when you're young. That, even though we treat these drugs as like super hardcore drugs that fucking kill you, not really. You shouldn't be ODing and dying of meth on the age of like 30 or 40, unless you've been doing it for like decades and decades. You shouldn't be ODing and dying of even heroin as a young person. Fentanyl can kill you outright immediately, even as a young and healthy person, though, which is very scary. It's very easy to OD significantly on fentanyl, especially if you don't know that it's in whatever you're using. But yeah. If the appetite was there in the country, would you want guns to be gone in the U.S. or heavily restricted? I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it's more like gang problems or crime problems than just, I feel like gun problems in and of themselves just aren't that big of a thing. If people really wanted to, though, like I would never die on that hill. I like guns. I think they're fun. But I don't feel like ultra passionately about it. I largely agree with you, but outside of just looking at number of gun deaths, how do you quantify the effects of every classroom in the U.S. having to routinely do lockdown drills? The mental health toll is pretty huge. I don't know if I believe there's a huge mental health toll. I think that spiritually, I think it's a little bit bad. I think it doesn't look good and it feels weird. Sorry, okay. Son, you relate everything to this fucking curve, son. How many times do I open the stream and see this curve? It's a good curve. What is this called? I should know all these. It's just exponential increase, right? No, it's not. There's got to be a different name for this, right? No, it is. It's just an exponential increasing curve, right? Isn't it? No. Is it? It would be. Sigmoid. It's a scary word. What pistol is that behind you? That's an Alien Luago, Generation 1. That's supposedly a really good pistol that I will fire soon.